I remember being 18 years old and realizing that I could name off more things that I was against than what I was for. And I remember just how confusing it was to me trying to believe in a Jesus that I was being taught, and in the Jesus that was actually in the Bible, because the Jesus in the Bible seemed to forgive a lot more than I was taught to forgive. That began to make me question, why was it that a place that was supposed to bring people, invite people, and allow them to heal, it would push them away by judging them? And so that put us on a mission to begin to ask the question of how can we change and impact our environment. And so one day on the news, we saw a story where a group of teens flash mobbed a Little Minute Mart and just absolutely just destroyed the place. And we thought, hey, how can we take that story, how can we take that movement and give it a positive light? And so we began to look for needs in the community and responded and mobilized a group of people around it, and we called it Flash Love.
Kind of how it came together was we'd been serving at the Lord's Gym with a ministry called Angels of God. And we'd been consistently doing it on Sundays. It's a food bank where they feed the needy. And the more we did it, the more Sundays we went out and helped, the more people we brought along with us. And what we noticed is that this was kind of creating a synergy. You know, we noticed not only the change in our lives, but in the people that came out with us, and hearing their story, and you know, and having them come up and say, hey, when can we do this again? Can I bring friends? And it's like, absolutely, everyone. It's like, come on, come all. You don't need any skill level to serve. And that's when it kind of hit us. It's like, oh my gosh, we've never really done this. We never brought people along, because in our minds it was like, well, I gotta have a skill set if I'm gonna serve for Jesus. You know, there's pastors, pastor people, there's worship leaders that lead the worship. Well, we don't have this skill set. What can we do?
It was as quick as you can possibly think it was. In total, from we need to do something to deciding what our first event was going to be, was about 10 minutes. Yeah, it was, and you know, there was probably 2 people in the group who kind of already had an idea of something that would be good to do, and you know, it became the cleanup, the Vancouver cleanup, doing the leaves for older folks and people that were in wheelchairs and whatnot.
We were looking for an opportunity to mobilize a group, and so we reached out to a little neighborhood that happened to have a lot of elderly people. There was quite a bit of folks that were also handicapped and disabled. So we came there because it was just inundated with leaves. There was a lot of work in the community, and it looked kind of sad to me, actually. And so a few boys and I, we went out there and met with this little lady that got to explain to us what the situation was and what the different families were kind of experiencing. And so we took that information home and rallied 58 people for that event, and just had the most incredible time when we decided on that community with rakes and shovels. And in an hour and a half, we cleaned up 25 houses, and it just, the experience, the people that came out and shared their emotions and their expression with us made it so worth it. And people just, after that, kept asking us, when is the next event? We enjoyed this so much, it really impacted us. How can we be a part of this movement?
It's really difficult to explain what how it how it makes you feel, but it gives, in a sense, it gives you a purpose. I am here for a purpose. I have an end goal. This is what I need to do. These are the steps I need to take to get there. And having that end goal helps you define your passion of how to get there. Because that's the beauty of serving, is we know what Jesus wants us to do, and along the way, as long as we have that end goal, we can almost define ourselves at how we can reach that.
Like, okay, everybody has a need. I mean, every single one of us has a need, and how our society is right now is really disconnected. And what I see Flash Love doing is not only loving on each other, but also just being able to bring people together again, and not being afraid to tell your neighbor what's going on, or not being able to, or being able to go to somebody and say, this is what the needs are in my neighborhood, and know that there are people that are there to support them in that. So what Flash Love means to me. I got to know Andre and Olga and Tristan back in March of this year. When I came to the very first event, yes, I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of people that I know. I have my church community. I have other educational community. I was a part of a lot of things, but I didn't have family. And now I have family. And that's probably the biggest thing for me, is that this group is family.
I think what Igor said earlier is actually the key. Flash Love isn't a single activity. Flash Love isn't a single group. It's not something on a wristband or something on a shirt. It is a movement, and it's a movement that anybody can do. It's a movement anybody can take part in. And my hope, and I think a lot of people's hope in Flash Love, is that people start grabbing onto that, and helping, even if they have no connection with us, even if they've never met us, just helping grow that Flash Love movement and spreading it anywhere they go.
It's very easy to get caught up in trying to understand the best approach, the right approach to serving. It's very easy to get caught up in the idea of trying to think, oh, maybe I'm not ready. I have to fix this, or I have to do that. People often think that it's theology or some super descriptive or perfect explanation that somehow connects with people. But in reality, it's just action.
Moved with our feet never touching ground. Couldn't stop ourselves. Couldn't stop ourselves.